to make it real short. My name is Mai Lam. I'm the owner of Nicoya Construction. We are one of the recipients for the SCALE program. I would like to welcome everybody. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to welcome everybody to the workspace at New Market. This is a building. The owners of this wonderful building, unfortunately, it's not me. It's Haycon Builders. They're sitting next door to our office here. When the mayor's office called yesterday and asked us to host this press conference, one of the owners from Haycon gave his thumbs up on short notice. This building houses several minority businesses in the construction and housing industry. In addition to being the main office for Haycon Builders, the other tenants are DVM Housing Partners, Hemingway Construction, Robert Nichols Companies, and Northeast Earthworks. And I just want to say thank you very much to Haycon Builders for helping us hold the event here. Thank you very much, guys. I do want to say Haycon has been a great partner in hiring many minority subcontractors. They were the ones that gave us our first opportunity in the subcontracting business. So Patrick Hayden is the owner. Pat Larkham is the project manager. Joe Kranz, Aaron Spiegel, David Bemis, and Pete Lavelle are the Haycon team. So with that, I'm going to pass the mic to Mr. Segun Idowu, the Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. Sorry, there's like 100 people in here. Good morning, everyone. There we go. It's so good to see everybody. Thank you very much, not only for inviting us into the space, but we're so grateful to you for applying and letting this pilot program, serve your business needs. And I know that as a successful business, it's going to help us secure some additional support to grow this program and support so many more of our small businesses here in the city of Boston. My name again is Segun Idowu. For the last 1,310 days, I've had the very distinct privilege and honor of serving as the Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion. There is I'm going to start early with my proverbs and say that there is a proverb I've heard before that says, some people make things happen, some people watch things happen, and some people ask, what happened? And I am very grateful to be here this morning alongside Mayor Wu and so many people in our community who helped to make things happen. And I want to start off, the fact that we're here today, yes, is to celebrate the entrepreneurs who are taking part in this program, which we'll talk a little bit more about shortly. But I want to thank the team at the City of Boston and those in community who are helping to make this possible. So starting with our team here at the city, Donald Wright, our Deputy Chief, is here, Jalivia Barros, who's our Director of Operations, and I'll go through our Department of Supplier Diversity. Andrea Caruth is going to join shortly. She's our new Director of Supplier Diversity. I don't remember what day, but it's less than 1,310. And the rest of the Supplier Diversity team, and you can feel free to wave your hand so folks see you and know who you are. We've got Stacy, Riley, Peishi, Kat, Jessica, Sisnell, Adrian, Aziza, Cam. Did I miss anybody? Excellent. And we've got Kelsey on our communications team and so many other partners across the city. And then I want to thank the folks who are helping to make this program successful, who are providing the support to the 27 entrepreneurs. So RevB, which is dealing with the folks in the snow removal and landscaping side of things. I know Ben is here from RevB. Prep Shift, you're going to hear a little bit later from Irene. They're helping our food and dining services entrepreneurs. Calyptus Consulting Group is helping with our design and architectural services. And I know George is here. I'm not sure if there's any others. And then ICIC, Initiative for a Competitive Inner City, represented by Steve Grossman and Monica, who are helping with our general construction and trade work. So we want to thank our TA providers. And then I see some other partners in the field. I saw Natalia from Eastern Bank Foundation, Eric from Boston Main Street Foundation, Betty from Boston Impact Initiative, and because I called and then of course Kareem Hill, who's with BDC Community Capital, the CDFI, that's helping to power the funding behind this program. So I want to thank all of you for what you're doing. My comments, unfortunately, are going to wrap up very shortly now. But I'm just going to say just a little bit about what this program actually is. SCALE. supplying capital and leveraging education. One thing you can rely on government for is that we will find the acronym we want to use and then find whatever words to fill in that acronym to make it make sense. I got to give credit to Elijah Miller, our director of policy, for coming up with the words that fill that in. But the whole point of this program is this. When Mayor Wu was a counselor, when I was serving in a previous role, so many of our partners who are here, who have been working on issues of supplier diversity and procurement for so many, many years, there were two things that we heard when it came to why our numbers were so low in the city of Boston for making sure that contracts are being steered to businesses owned by women, owned by people of color, veterans, et cetera. The two things we always heard were we can't find them. And I remember we walked into City Hall one day with a list of 600, a list of all the certified vendors and said, here they are, you can find them. And then also, or we hear when we do find them, they don't have the capacity. And so a lot of our major contracts in areas like construction and our streets, our public works areas, et cetera, don't get awarded because often we'll say they don't have the capacity. So there's another proverb that says that to talk much and arrive nowhere is the same as climbing a tree to catch a fish. And we are not about, there's many a redwood here in Boston sometimes on issues we care about, but on this particular issue, what the mayor was focused on and in empowering our team was making sure that these were not just words we were delivering to minority and women-owned businesses, which we have been eating and receiving for many decades, but that we were delivering. So that when it comes to the capacity, we're not just sitting around and saying, well, if these businesses would only grow, we can get these contracts to them. Instead, we are using and leveraging government funding, government partnerships, and collaboration and resources to invest in entrepreneurs to help them build that capacity so that then they can become competitive to bid on public contracts. I will end by saying August 5th, 1858 was a very important day in our history, not just for the United States of America, but for North America, the rest of the world. It was the day. Does anyone know what that day was important for? Oh, okay. Well, since you don't know, I'm going to let you know. So August 5th, 1858 is when the network or the lining between North America and Great Britain at that time was completed to allow for wire communication overseas. It's when the first transatlantic communication was sent. Why am I bringing that up? What does that have to do with this? I just thought it was a cool fact to share with all of you that I found earlier. But really, it's interesting to me, not what the first communication was, but what today can mean for all of the 18,000 businesses in the city of Boston who are employing 125,000 people and generating $28 billion every year. Let the word go forth that the city of Boston is not just open for business, but that we are putting everything we can behind this idea that every business in the city of Boston not only should but will have the opportunity to do business with the city that they are helping to enrich and enhance our economy. So we want to thank all of you for being here this morning. And for the last 1,300 plus days, it has been my great fortune to work with someone who is not just a friend, not just my boss, but who I think for the great benefit of so many Bostonians, all 681,937, we have had the fortune of being able to call mayor. And so I'm going to invite our mayor, Michelle Wu, to the stage.
Okay, well, it's afternoon now. She could say good morning. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you so much to our incredible Chief of Opportunity and Inclusion, to our amazing team throughout all of the departments that this cabinet oversees, and especially to all of our partners who are gathered here. You look around this room, and it is not only the billions of dollars of economic value that are being generated for the city from the entrepreneurs, the partners, the organizations represented here. It is the brilliant ideas, the creativity, the drive, the dedication, the community that really makes all of that value mean something every day in our neighborhood. So I want to thank each and every one of you for all that you do, the many hats that you wear, the many hours that you are either on the laptop still going after the kids have gone to bed, or you're finding time to squeeze in one more call with one more vendor, or to then make it possible for that neighbor who needs a little bit of extra support from your business, and then going above and beyond to do something that's not generating any profit at all. We see you, we thank you, and we're so grateful for you. I also want to recognize and thank our partners in government. It is a crazy time to be in government right now, and I could not be more grateful every single day to wake up and get the chance to serve alongside these partners. So to Madam President, City Councilor Ruti Louijen, our council president, thank you for all that you do citywide for our small businesses, for our communities, for our residents. And thank you to the State Senator for Boston, State Senator Liz Miranda, who has fought and delivered. We have 225 new restaurant opportunities with liquor licenses because of the senator making that happen on Beacon Hill, along with so many in this room. We have just an incredible investment, and it means so much that the state always has our back. So thank you for what you do. Thank you to Mai for, where did Mai go, for hosting us. So grateful for you, and I know we've known each other a long time, and appreciate all that you have invested in building our city, literally from the foundation up. And to all of our speakers who you'll hear from shortly, this is just an incredible day to be here to launch a new program that we know is going to not only scale businesses, but scale opportunity, scale community throughout the city of Boston. I'll shout out one other of our grantees today, Hansi Berferrasa, who not only has been someone who has helped think through this program and is going to make sure that the work that you do empowers so many others, but who has been volunteering her time for years at this point as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals as well. Thank you for serving on top of everything else that you do. I will shout out again our partners on the funding side. Thank you to BDC Community Capital Corporation, Kareem, and all your team for administering these grants of up to $200,000 for each of our scale participants, and to our technical assistance providers, Irene of PrepShift, and of many other things, who you'll hear from in a minute as well, and all of our business consulting partners who will help each of our program participants really tailor the steps and the advice and the plan that will make the most sense for them to be able to reach their fullest potential and connect with the opportunities that are available. You heard our chief allude to this a little bit, but this has been a personal fight for me, and one that I've been proud to work with him alongside for a number of years, long before either of us were in the roles that we're in now. Back in 2017, I was proud to take action because we had been hearing as city councilors at that point from so many businesses directly in our communities, living in Boston, in our neighborhoods, Black and brown owned businesses who said we cannot get a foot in the door for city contracts. And not only does the city have a policy making power, you have spending power, real dollars to put that money where your mouth is. And so step one was really understanding how big of a gap were we talking. There was no measurement. And as this room knows, what gets measured gets done, or what doesn't get measured gets put aside as a tree far away from the fish, or something like that we were talking about. So back in 2017, then City Councilor Presley and I, also on the City Council, worked to draft and pass a supplier diversity ordinance for the very first time for the City of Boston that required measurement, and it required reporting to actually go through our city dollars and contracts to say exactly where those were going. It took a little bit for all that number crunching and for the actual reports to be produced, but by the time we got the first set of numbers back in 2018, it was staggering but not surprising to our community members. Businesses owned by people of color in that very first report reflected just 0.65% of the dollars that the city was putting to city contracting. $665 million in contracting spent through procurement and purchasing, and less than 1%, 0.65%, going to businesses owned by people of color. We knew then that that was wrong, and we started to take steps to put in place requirements through the RFP process and through other mechanisms. Even as recently as 2021, before our administration started, we were still at 1% as a city. And so some of the first steps that we took, including passing new legislation, thanks to the City Council and Home Rule petition that Representative Russell Holmes helped us champion and get done alongside Senator Miranda up on Beacon Hill, that gave us more tools to be able to think about how to use procurement, particularly to support Boston-based and businesses who reflect our community. And we also had the chance to add to and use the tools within our organizational structure to really prioritize supplier diversity, accountability, and making sure that our procurement processes were getting every bit of value. By fiscal year 2023, our first full year under our administration, the number of contracts awarded to businesses owned by people of color and women were up to 10%. By fiscal year 2024, 12%. And while our supplier diversity report for fiscal 2025 is yet to come in a few weeks, I can share that we are on track to continue that positive momentum. Last year, for the first time, in city history, we awarded $230 million in city contracts to businesses owned by people of color and/or women. And we're not done yet. We are well on our way to our clear goal of awarding at least 25% of our contracts to these companies. And I'm confident that this Scale Business Accelerator is going to get us a heck of a lot closer. We are so proud to welcome 27 businesses to the Scale program, selected from a pool of more than 180 applicants. From architecture to roofing to landscaping, our businesses in this program are creating jobs and helping us build a Boston that's home for everyone. They'll receive personalized technical assistance from industry experts and funding from the American Rescue Plan granted to help them compete for public contracts that they will earn and then deliver value back to our city residents. Because when businesses like these are working for Boston, it works for all of Boston. I'll shout out just a couple of them. We're proud to recognize and be investing in Earthshapers Cooperative, an immigrant worker-owned co-op in Dorchester that installs and maintains green infrastructure using their initial grant funding to buy a truck and be able to expand their service area by more than 400%. Our hosts here, Nicoya Construction, are managing development projects all across the city and growing quickly. And we are thrilled to partner with them to make sure that they are doing more work that is badly needed through municipal contracts as well. The city is already working with Golden Key Advisors, a Black woman-owned business, to help renovate White Stadium into a venue worthy of our BPS student athletes and the Boston Legacy Football Club, the soccer team. And this program will help Golden Key accelerate their growth. Studio Luz Architects use creativity and care to make affordable housing feel like home for thousands of our residents, and our administration is excited to join forces with them to address the housing crisis through scaling up. These businesses are part of the story, a very, very important part. But there are dozens more like them all across our neighborhoods, looking for chances to grow. Scale, this program, will give them real opportunities. It gives access to experts, to mentorship, to funding, and to city contracts. I want to just take a note also and recognize all of those advocates and community leaders whose shoulders we stand on when then BECMA Director Shagun and then Counselor myself and Ayanna and so many stood up nearly a decade ago and said we have to do better. That was already on the shoulders of advocates and leaders in our communities who had been doing this work for decades and decades, putting the work through the Boston Resident Jobs Policy into place, through all the commitments. So thank you to advocates like Bruce Bowling, like Mukia Baker Gomez, like Chuck Turner, Leon Nelson, who had pushed the city for decades to increase supplier diversity and whose legacy we are carrying forward today. Their passion, the passion of this community, of our businesses, drives this progress forward today. The SCALE program is increasing representation and it's increasing competition. For decades, promising businesses have been shut out of the market because the city contracting policies and systems were designed to go to whoever was most set up to step in right at that moment. And that meant if you had had the contract before, you were most likely to get the contract again and again and again. No longer. This program is paving an avenue for businesses to build wealth, for Boston to work with the best partners available, and for residents to enjoy better government and greater results. Over the next year, we'll have quite a few opportunities for these businesses and businesses throughout the city to tap into contracts and the economic growth and development that we will see. Next summer, we will be hosting Sail Boston with the tall ships, the FIFA World Cup, and we will see the White Stadium renovation bringing in more jobs and more opportunities. And that is just the tip of the iceberg. We want to make sure that our local businesses and local communities benefit from global events here in Boston, as well as the needs that our neighborhood residents have day in and day out. You can get updates on our contract opportunities by signing up for the Supplier Diversity newsletter at boston.gov/supplier diversity. And I want to make one more personal note, just since I'm reminiscing about old times. As City Council President, one of the policies that I put in place and one of the practices that we had started was each councilor was at that time inviting in a guest speaker to come present to the rest of the council and to share out what issues were most important to us. I decided I would go first to try to get the program going, and the speaker that I brought in to address the council and to talk about the issues that were needed was Steve Grossman. And so the ICIC program, Initiative for Competitive Intercity, has been just a model that we are tapping into as well. There are so many examples of this work that have been happening and that has already been making a difference for businesses all across the city, whether it's through this organization or so many others. The goal of this program is to get everyone to the same table, really make sure that the sum is greater, the whole is greater than the sum of our parts, and to invest this in a way that class after class of the SCALE program will be able to open those doors and keep them wide open. So congratulations to all of our 27 businesses who make up the SCALE program. And before I turn it over to my colleagues in elected office to say a word, otra vez un poco en español. Buenos días, o buenas tardes, y gracias. Hace muchos años en la lucha para invertir en nuestras empresas pequeñas y en nuestras comunidades. En el 2017 trabajé con en ese punto, concejala Ayanna Pressley para aprobar una ordenanza de informes de proveedores y comprender mejor quién estaba recibiendo los contratos de la ciudad. Cuando obtuvimos el primer conjunto de números del informe de 2018, los números nos detuvieron. Las empresas que tienen dueños de color recibieron solo 0.65% de los 665 millones de dólares que la ciudad gastó en adquisiciones ese año. 0.65%. Eso está mal. Boston debe ser un hogar para todos y también para sus negocios. Debe ser un lugar donde cualquiera de nuestros residentes puede generar riqueza a través de un negocio local. No solo quienes tienen buenas conexiones. En el momento que nuestra administración pudo, nos pusimos a trabajar. Y gracias al trabajo del jefe Sirgun Iruwu, nuestro equipo de diversidad de proveedores y nuestro equipo de compras, estamos logrando avances reales en materia de diversidad de proveedores. Para el año fiscal 2023, logramos que el porcentaje de contratos otorgados a empresas de propiedad de minorías y mujeres subiera al 10%. En el año fiscal 2024, al 12%. Y aunque nuestro informe de diversidad de proveedores saldrá en unas semanas, esperamos que esos números solo sigan creciendo. Por primera vez en la historia de la ciudad, el año pasado adjudicamos 225 millones de dólares en contratos municipales a empresas de propiedad de minorías y mujeres. Pero todavía no hemos terminado. Hemos establecido una meta ambiciosa, adjudicar el 25% de nuestros contratos a estas empresas. Y estoy segura de que el programa de aceleración empresarial SCALE nos ayudará a lograrlo. Hoy nos enorgullece dar la bienvenida a 27 empresas a Scale. Estas empresas fueron seleccionadas de entre más de 180 solicitantes. Recibirán asistencia técnica personalizada de expertos de la industria y financiamiento del Plan de Rescate estadounidense para ayudarles a competir por contratos públicos. El programa Scale trata de aumentar la representación, pero también de aumentar la competencia. Durante décadas, empresas con gran potencial quedaron fuera del mercado porque la ciudad elegía a los mismos contratistas una y otra vez. Eso se acabó. Este programa está creando oportunidades para que las empresas generen riqueza, para que la ciudad trabaje con los mejores socios disponibles y para que los residentes disfruten de un mejor gobierno. Gracias por todo. So I will pass it on to Council President Ruth C. Louis-Jean, Senator Liz Miranda, and then over to our Director of Supplier Diversity, Andrea Caruth.
Hi, everyone. It's a great day to be here. I'm going to try to keep it brief because the mayor did a great job and the chief did a great job of outlining how important this program is. I think that there are 27 recipients and there were 180 applicants. Shows the deep, deep need for us to be helping businesses and continuing to do the work of making sure that Boston is a place where all of our businesses can thrive and can participate in bidding on contracts and working alongside the city of Boston. The work of equity is about correcting for our past policy harms of exclusion and of making sure we're doing the affirmative work of partnering with businesses and helping them scale with technical assistance. This is so important for all of our businesses, for our main streets, for our immigrant-owned businesses, for those who've been here for some time. And I think it's really important that we understand that, like the mayor said, there are so many people who for years and years and years, leaders, black leaders in the community here who have fought and argued for this. And it was important to get the data to make sure that people knew just how bad it was. And so little by little, chipping away at that problem is important. And as again, there are so many partners and people in this room without whom this would not be possible. And I just want to say that from the city council perspective, the work that the current mayor is talking about is the work that continues on the Boston City Council. As we have those events that are coming here next year, how are we making sure that our businesses, that our small businesses, that our black and brown businesses are the ones to benefit and to reap the benefits from these really big events that are happening in the city next year, that are the ones who are helping to put Boston on the map and the ones who are helping to do the work of building Boston every single day. So it's a joy to partner alongside this administration as we continue to deepen our focus and our work on equity and making sure that we are, working on access for businesses, but this also helps with the bigger issues that when we talk about the racial wealth gap in the city, when we talk about the ways in which certain businesses have had an advantage for so long, that we are really talking about disrupting practices that have not served our communities. And so I'm excited about the SCALE program. I'm excited about scaling it up. I'm excited about all of so good job on the acronym. I'm excited to partner with the supplier diversity team in making this happen. Still one of my staffers is Snell in the back, and I know she's doing great work in the office, but this is just a really great day. Every day that we get to come to press conferences like this and reaffirm who we are as a city. And that reaffirmation includes making sure that we are being intentional about our investments and who we're helping. Thank you, everyone.
Boa tarde, good afternoon, everyone. I'll be even briefer because I have 2-hour shoes that have turned into hour shoes. But no, all jokes aside, we have 10,000 legislators who are in our city from all over the country for the National Conference of State Legislators in the Seaport. And I came today because it was super important for me to be here to showcase a couple of things. One is that Nothing gets done in silos. The city needs the state, and the state needs the city to be able to not only make Boston better in our 23 neighborhoods, but the other 350 cities and towns that make Massachusetts. We're one Commonwealth. And when people come to Boston, they might go to the Cape, they might go to Worcester, they might go somewhere else, and we want to make sure that businesses are thriving everywhere. It's just not enough for it to just be thriving in our major city and not in our gateway city. So I wanted to make sure that I was here for that. The second point is I'm a daughter of this neighborhood. My home is literally up the street, and I know, Jolivia, you're around the corner. And I just want to take you down a little trip. In the 80s and 90s, this neighborhood had 1,400 parcels of vacant land. This didn't exist. The homes on Roby Street, which we used to cut through to walk to Upham's Corner, didn't exist. And Indigo Block, with Nicoya built, didn't exist either. And so this is not just about businesses, it's about dreams, it's about opportunity in making our communities whole. You know, when you're talking about City Council President, bad policy practices, there are a lot of neighborhoods that there was brilliance and beauty and diversity that just didn't have the opportunity, whether that was a racist tactic or a classist tactic. They did not have access to city and state government. And so now we see when you do invest, when you put technical assistance along with funding, along with city and state support, people not only thrive in their businesses, but they make communities beautiful again. And it's very proud for me to walk in this community, and now we only have 2 vacant parcels that hopefully will be built on in the next year or two, our Terra Livre, and there's another lot on Dudley Street. But to know that we fought for this and it's actually coming true, and we've got to continue to be good neighbors. And the third point, oftentimes, sad to say this, the city has really been, it's good to say this, but sad because I work on the state level, that what the city has done under your administration quickly to go from less than 1% to be reaching 14 to 15%, that's not an accident. That has to be intentional. And we in the state are still less than 1%. Not doing businesses with Black and brown businesses. And we've got billions and billions of dollars that we could be using. So I just want to thank you, Mayor, for doing that. And Chief, because I know it wasn't an easy feat. A lot of people want to do business, but sometimes you're raising your kids, you're a mom and pop shop, you got to get there at 7 a.m., you're leaving at midnight. When do you have time to take classes? When do you have time to go to another bank and them to tell you that, no, you don't have enough credit for us to support you? So thank you for your investment. Thank you for being here. And I hope if you're part of the 27 businesses, could we just give them a round of applause? Raise your hand. Congratulations, okay? This is, I won't say what Big Papi said, but this is our city. This is what makes Boston the world-class city that it is. We speak over 100 languages. People come from everywhere to make this city home. And if we keep doing this, Boston is going to continue to be the great city on the hill that we know our ancestors and our foremothers and fathers fought for. So thank you.
Hello, everyone. So this is a big day for my department, so hopefully you'll forgive me for taking a little bit of your time. So when a wildfire comes through the land, trees that looked strong but were hollow inside are removed. Strong trees endure and new seedlings spring up. At that time, those new seedlings may seem to have little worth, but with water and attention, they can grow and be a source of sustenance. Those strong trees may rebound and still bear fruit, but a time can come when they may not be as flexible enough to shift with the environment, so you will need additional resources. The Department of Supplier Diversity allows the City of Boston to ensure that both strong trees and new seedlings receive water. Today, that water comes in the form of close to $5 million in federal funding from ARPA that will allow these companies to transform their businesses so that they will win bids and secure contracts that departments will use. Now, more than 4.5 years ago, as the City of Boston was reeling from community response to the disparity study, I joined the City of Somerville as a Deputy Chief Procurement Officer. The city was taking the signal that it too should ready itself for change that will result in minority and women-owned businesses having greater access to contracting opportunities. I had hands-on experience in procurement and seeing the inner workings of what it takes for a business to develop and make inroads in a local municipality. Now, as I step into this new role as Director of Supplier Diversity for the City of Boston, I am looking forward to joining a mission that started decades ago, to allow that water of life to flow to every area of the city so we can see growth and opportunity and depth of experience and capacity for every business in every area of the city, from the bridges of Charlestown to the edges of Hyde Park. The Department of Supply Diversity will take the hand of departments to walk with them, to empower them, to navigate procurement laws, and step into the unfamiliar paths of creating contractual relationships with local, minority, and women-owned businesses. Now, yes, it seems risky, but remaining the same is even more dangerous if we want a sustainable economy. The alternative is an economy in which companies that win the same government contract year after year can just eventually name their price because they have discouraged new businesses from entering the market. City governments and city departments want to deliver quality resources to taxpayers. So the Department of Supply Diversity, we surveyed departments and we asked where are the gaps, what are the barriers that are making it difficult for us to reach these numbers when it comes to contract spend. And we listened, and one of the issues mentioned, of course, was capacity. And as a result, we created programs such as SCALE, and we paired funding with wisdom and knowledge to use the funding effectively. And so with that, to the 27 businesses, congratulations on your new journey that you are embarking on. And thank you to the mayor. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you for supporting the Department of Supplier Diversity as we innovate to solve economic issues and disparities in our city. So thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hansi Beder Barraza from Stu Luz Architects. I am a founder, locally owned business, Latin-owned business right here in Boston for over 23 years. I'm so proud to be part of the business industry in the city of Boston. I want to first and foremost thank Mayor Wu, Michelle Wu, for providing us and creating this SCALE program that I'm a participant to and these other 26 businesses are part of. It is quite amazing to know that under your administration and under Segun, you have transformed minority-owned businesses from the everyday of struggles to having hope of stability. So I want to thank both of you for that. We all know that when you provide care and support to locally owned minority businesses, we give it back to you by providing workforce, by providing opportunities to local people to work for our city and to have long-lasting impact in the developments of our neighborhoods. I want to give a shout out to the 27 businesses. I want to know how many of you have been in business for over 10 years. Can I see your hands? How many of you have been in business for over 20 years? Can I see your hands? Okay. I want to let you know you can really feel your policy, as what Senator Miranda just said, from less than 1% to over 15%. What we typically struggle with as an immigrant-owned businesses is stability. By allowing us access to city-owned contract, we don't necessarily have to ride the highs and lows. So keep doing what you're doing for us. I also want to talk about racial equity. While we are acknowledging women-owned businesses, veteran, LGBTQ, it is really important that you stay laser focused to minority-owned businesses that have additional struggles in breaking in through city-owned contract. I want to also let you know that being part of the SCALE program, within 20 years, one of the great questions that was asked from us, from our technical assistant, from George Harris, from Calyptus Consulting Group was, do you have a business plan? No. Do you have a marketing plan? No. So, and I think that tells testimony to the real hustling that one goes through to just survive and making sure that you're feeding your family. So I just want to thank you to our technical consultants who are asking the right questions and allowing us and reviewing how to enhance our organizational structure and providing opportunities for a network as well to say hello to someone that they might have connections to be able to provide you feedback with why you lost a contract opportunity in relationships to the other. Businesses like ourselves sometimes don't look through kind of conventional forms of kind of check marks in regards to whether this person needs an opportunity. I am really proud to say that out of 23 years in an architecture business, I had a first walkthrough, maybe it was 3 years ago, of an Afro-Latin developer coming and walking through my door and asking, do you want to go into this RFP for the city of Boston? I'm interested in 3 sites on Blue Hill Ave, and I want to give back to my community. I grew up in housing development, and I looked at her and I said, for 23 years, I never had a black developer or a Latin women developer. The answer is yes. And I'm glad to say that we're in her house here at DVM upstairs. So lastly, I want to give my sincere gratitude to Supply Diversity Office and their staff for doing the work that you do. And to Segun Ugowu, thank you so much. And to Donna Wright, who I had the opportunity to meet today, Deputy Chief Economic Opportunity and Inclusion. Please continue to support our businesses. Please continue to help small businesses. Without you, we would not be here surviving. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Irene, and I am the CEO of Prep Shift, and we are working with 6 grantees in the food and dining vertical. I'm really excited to make sure you all meet Baheja and Najib from Ariana Restaurant in Lower Alston. They bring a taste of their home, Afghanistan, to Boston. And if you had not had the lamb shank with that rice, with all the delicious bits in it, you messed up, but you can fix that. And in a couple weeks, they are going to have a brand new online reservation system as part of our work together. So I am very excited personally about that. We also have Tanya and Ben from the Ancient Bakers, and very soon you will be able to order their baked goods and one-of-a-kind, innovative, heart-healthy, and allergen-friendly baking mixes. This business grew out of Tanya's desire to safely feed her now adult son, Ben, and we are just so honored to be able to support them through this program. So a round of applause for them, please, if you would. Thank you. And while these 2 grantees are unique, their challenges are shared by many other businesses in food and dining. I myself have been a restaurant owner here in the city of Boston for the last 13 years, and having learned a lot of things the hard way, we're hoping that we can do some other learnings the easy way by collaborating together, not just as technical assistance provider to grantee, but also by building a community of grantees who can commiserate and share successes with one another. This work is so important to me because I love delicious food, and I also know that our businesses here in Boston and all over the country are facing borderline insurmountable odds to get food on the table to feed diners. And a study that we released earlier this year with interviews from more than 100 small businesses, mostly in Boston, showed what many of us already know, which is that one major facilities issue can close a restaurant permanently, and that for every $1 we spend in our local mom and pop restaurants, if they are lucky, they are retaining 3 cents after they pay their bills. So I'm wondering, I thought we might spend 2 minutes on Restaurant Econ 101, because they don't teach you this stuff before you open a restaurant. Chief, would you put 10 fingers in the air? Okay, so pretend you go to a restaurant and you buy a plate for $10. How many dollars do you think the restaurant spent on ingredients? You could put a hand up or you could shout. 2? Okay. 4, 7, okay, 5. Wow, what an array of answers. This is great. Okay, so let's put down, let's say you've controlled your costs really well. Let's put down 2 fingers. 2 out of every $10. Okay, what about labor? You have people who do the dishes, who clean the bathroom, who cook the food, who serve the guests. How many dollars do we think we spend on labor? 3? A fist? 4? Okay, 4. We have some 4s and 5s. Great. Let's say, again, you do a really great job controlling labor. Let's put 4 fingers down. Okay. What else do we have to pay for if we own a restaurant? Rent. What else? Insurance. Utilities. What else? Permits. What else? Food, we talked about ingredients. What about credit card processing? What about your fire alarm system? What about the toilet paper in the bathroom that you don't charge anyone for, but you have to provide it, right? So let's say you've done a great job controlling those costs. We typically say those overhead expenses would represent 30%. So we'll put down 3 fingers, okay? And that leaves 1. And of course, we have tariffs, we have inflation, we have the insurance market. So let's put down like half a finger. Perfect, yeah, that's right. And so that is how we end up in a place where most mom and pop and independent restaurants are barely surviving. And the reality is that most of these business owners would do this work for free if they could, because they care about their culture, they care about their community, they want to share that, they want to be a place where their community can gather and celebrate and enjoy a taste of home. And so that's why I am so personally delighted to be able to be part of this program. And to the City of Boston, thank you for hearing us during COVID, for listening to us, for providing support to these 6 grantees. And I do want to add, out of the 181 applicants, almost a third were food and dining businesses. And so we have a lot more to do. We've made a great start, and I'm very grateful to you all. Thank you so much.
Okay, we got everyone. Any questions from the media on topic? Thank you for coming out. Let's do a group picture and we will celebrate. Congratulations, everyone.